Welcome to Workouts for Older Men Live. So glad you are here. I'm going to go live here just in a moment. So when you come on, get ready to ask your questions. So glad you are here, starting your week off with me in Workouts for Older Men Live. Starting here in one moment. Hello. Welcome to Workouts for Older Men Live. I am Skip LaCour. So glad you are joining me here this morning. When you come on, say hello. Tell me where you're watching me from. Tell me how old you are, too. I want to know who. TikTok. I'm doing this live on TikTok. I'm doing this live on YouTube. Both of those are at Skip LaCour, and on my Facebook page at Skip LaCour page. Hey, make sure you're on all of my platforms. All of my Skip LaCour platforms, X, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. Also, make sure you visit my skiplacour.com website often. All the questions that we'll talk about today, I would say, depending on the questions, I would say 80% of the questions that will be asked from men just like you, a little bit older, who have busy, productive lives, trying to figure out how to work around injuries that are unique to us when we're a little bit older. Our slowing metabolism, our testosterone levels. We can't lift as heavy or as often. We can't recover maybe as often. We have questions. How do you pick the right workout routine for you and your conditions, your time constraints, your values, your priorities? Is it the same as younger men? We need to talk about that to give you more certainty and confidence moving forward. All the information when it comes to training. Nutrition, the same thing. Diet, very, very important part of this process. Get you clear, get you focused so you can just get to work. All right. All the questions that will be asked today. When you go to skiplacour.com, you will find a video on that topic that's 10 minutes long, 20 minutes long, half an hour long, explaining it in great detail. All right, I want to interact with you here today. I come on with you live every single morning about this time. It's 4 o'clock a.m. Pacific time, 7 a.m. Eastern time. Come to you for about an hour or so. Really depends on what you have to say, right? The questions that you have to ask, right? But the questions that you have to ask, they're on skiplacour.com. And I want to interact with you here too. Good morning, David. Great to have you here, sir. David from Florida is here this morning. All right. So whether you're here for 10 seconds, 10 minutes, all right, I want to do what I can to provide at least some inspiration, right? Get you focused on what you want most. I know a lot of men who are attracted to workouts for older men live, they've accomplished a lot of things in their life. Maybe fitness isn't their thing, at least not until this point, right? They focused on their businesses, quite impressive resumes as I talk to men just like you. Great families, been married for forever, right? Raised some great kids. It's just that first part of our lives just didn't focus on fitness. And now you're sick and tired of that, having that body. You know that you got to help your body out as it ages. Doesn't matter what kind of shape we're in. We got to be smarter, and we got to do more work to get the same things done, to build that muscle, lose that body fat, have energy. Today I want to talk about food. Such an important part of the process. It's very undervalued. I'm not talking about food as it relates to just losing that body fat, making you look better in the mirror, right? Food as a drug that enhances the total quality of your life. A lot of men, they talk about testosterone replacement therapy, right? Because why? Because of their moods, aggressiveness. They talk about not having energy now that they're older, right? Well, food, and not just food for that day, food consistently over time, building that momentum with great eating habits. All right. Food is energy. Energy is food. Calories are energy. Right? And it's more than just portion control, and it's more than just the foods that you eat. It doesn't have to be more complex than them, but I think it really starts with the appreciation of what food does for us. Right? Again, is underappreciated. That aspect of the whole fitness just isn't. There isn't enough effort put into that. And I want to talk about that. And any questions that you may have. So when you come on, say hello. Tell me where you're watching me from. If you're on TikTok, make sure you follow. So every time I go live, you'll be alerted. Every time I post a new video, you'll be alerted. Also, if you're new over on TikTok or on Facebook, make sure you follow. Let me know if you're new. Again, ask your questions. Bring some energy. Questions that you ask not will only help you. Right? I want to interact with you as much as I can here as you ask your questions, give you a thorough answer. But the questions that you ask will help men just like you who happen to be on this feed right now. So on TikTok, tap that screen. Tap that screen, get those likes, get those hearts going, right? Because what that's going to do, it's going to attract men like you. The algorithm on TikTok is going to say, hey, there's must be something going on. That's great for older men who work out, right? Let's send more men over there, right? So tap that screen, get those lights going. So we'll all benefit. More energy in here, more questions, rapid fire, and more bang for a buck. I know a lot of men, you don't have necessarily, you don't know the right question at the time. You're a little overwhelmed by this, right? You're hoping that I stumble across the information that you need most. I hope so too. But it will really help out if I knew what that was. You tell me where your starting point is. Let me just ask you this question right now. What's your biggest fitness challenge right now? Right? For someone, it might be, I just can't get in. I just can't get into this. I just can't get to the gym on a regular basis. I don't care how much information you give me. I just can't work it into my schedule. Right? Maybe for some of you, it has nothing to do with the way your body looks. Sure, you want your body to look better. If you could build muscle, if you can lose body fat, that would be awesome, right? More of it, less of it. But it's really about your health at this age, right? You got a family depending on you. You've got to keep on with high energy, keep on working, still produce, even though you're a little older. You got to finish this out, right? Financial security, right? So you got to keep on hanging with the young bucks, right? You know, it's interesting, you know, being in this fitness world, a lot of times, you know, a lot of men say, I can hang with the young bucks, right? When it comes to lifting weights, you know, but I'll tell you, your level of fitness, mental acuity, where you keep your body in shape, where you feed yourself, that's keeping up with the young bucks in the competitive business world, right? So you being in shape can help you keep up with the young bucks. For many men, that's what really matters, to keep on producing at a high level in the competitive business world. That is a very good reason for you to get fit, to stay fit, to take your fitness to a higher level, right? A lot of men, you've never really felt what it's like to be in shape, to work out on a consistent basis, to budget that time. And I get it, where your challenge, right? But you don't know what that feels like, to feed your body, get that metabolism racing, stacking it week after week, month after month, what that does to your mental state, your mental acuity, right? And how that edge that it gives you. Okay, so Rawari asked, I get this is quite a common question, right? He asked, what is the preferred training split and rep range? Okay. So those of you who are rather new to all this fitness thing, there's many ways to split up the body part training. You got the arms, shoulders, chest, back, legs, calves, right? However you want to break it up, right? Abs, right? All these different body parts. Right? I guess you can work them all in a full body workout. That would be a particular training split. Or you can kind of break it up over 3 or 4, maybe even 5 days, right? So chest, some men just train the chest alone. They just train their back alone. They train their legs alone. right? They train their arms, biceps, and triceps alone, right? That would be a training split, right? Combining chest with triceps, back with biceps, all the legs, calves, hamstrings all together, maybe throwing in abs in there, doing it over 3 days, maybe take a day off and do that 3-day training routine again. So that's what they mean. Again, a lot of the men, I apologize if you're way above that, but a lot of the men who I help, very smart men, very hardworking men. That's the challenge. That's a big challenge when it comes to all this information, right? A lot of it is way advanced. It's theory. It's not the important things that matter, because everybody wants something new. The influencers assume you know what training splits means and why there's even a difference. And it's all you're jumped ahead, and without understanding the basic foundation. So, look, I've been doing this. By the way, if you're new, my name is Skip LaCour. Just happened to be going through over on TikTok. I just showed up on your page. My name is Skip LaCour. I'll be 62 years old this week. Right? I've been doing this for 35 years. I'm a former 6-time national champion drug-free bodybuilder. It's not so much about what I accomplished. It's what it took me to accomplish that. The people who I work with, who I learn from, the dedication I put into all the different trainings routines for so many years at that high level to become a 6-time national champion drug-free bodybuilder. But I'll tell you, that knowledge, and now 20 years removed, where I went on to live a life that you live. I probably, with my daughter who's just about turning 11, and my son who's 9, and all the travel, sports, and all the parenting and all the responsibility, did not live that life when I was obsessing over reps and splits and grams of protein, all this stuff that's thrown in front of you, right? I could just dedicate all my time. A lot of fitness influencers, that's their identity. That's just where they go. But 20 years retired and still being in great shape, still making fitness a priority. What I've learned how to do is I don't need to do that. That's not quite as important as they say, right? I'm able to differentiate what's important and what's not. And that's what I want to share with you. So even though, I'm a 6-time national champion drug-free bodybuilder, and there's nobody who probably broke it up in as much detail as me, learned from the best. I'm coming back to you if you're a little bit older, right? You didn't do this early in your life, and maybe you've got a year or two, maybe even less, but now you're getting into it. I want to bring it back to you and build upon that organizing principles. So there's a lot of men who've been training 10 years, 25 years. They don't understand the organizing principles to all this, and they're skipping ahead and all these details that don't matter because it's in front of their face all the time. They think that's the game changer. That's what the difference is, right? Rewari, the different training splits. So that's what he talked about. Which one is preferred, right? And then what rep ranges when you have those different workouts and body part splits. The bottom line is it's just about overloading the muscle, right? If you want to build muscle, you've got to challenge yourself every set that you do, whatever the split is. However you do this, you need to overload that one set that matters. So if you're doing a full body workout, right, all of the body parts, and you may do that 3 days a week, that may work best with your schedule. What's most important and what works, but also what's sustainable for your schedule, right? It doesn't matter if you find some young fitness influencer and he has this great 6-day-a-week training routine and you're in the gym 2 hours a day. And he looks great. He's very enthusiastic. It makes a lot of sense. He throws science or whatever it is. He's got, great credentials, great energy, great personality, okay, great following of millions of followers. All that's great, but if you can't train, work out, exercise, however you put it, 6 days a week for 2 hours a day because you got other responsibilities, and even if you could do that for a while, it certainly isn't sustainable in the long run. Why learn a way that you can't do in the long run? There are ways to do this within your schedule, and it really depends on your goals. Everybody doesn't have the same goal. Many of you guys just want to, to build some muscle, that's fine, but you got to lose this 40 pounds of body fat, right? It's dragging you down. It's eating away at your confidence, your self-esteem that you've earned so much from the other things, but you have to look at yourself in the mirror. So if you're sick and tired, right, and you're looking for these strategies, I'm here to help break it down, because I don't have to tell you, You look long enough on the internet, you're going to be confused. What you need to know is most of those things that don't matter, but which ones do. Right. So all the different training split, what matters is your understanding of what training does. So number one, for a lot of you guys, your workout, your split, whatever, it's not going to help you lose body fat. Right. There isn't a rep range and a certain exercise full body versus splitting it up into different parts, frequency, volume. Weight training is to overload the muscle. Right. You break it down, you challenge to do to a level that it hasn't gone before, and that could be weight. Also could be like one more rep than you did last week. Better form, feel, and execution. Just greater mind-muscle connection, meaning, you're not using whatever it takes to lift that weight. If you're focusing on your bicep, you're doing a great job, but that's doing the vast, vast, vast majority of the work. Mind-muscle connection, being effective and efficient way. You can always take that to higher levels. When you do, you break down the muscle, you demand it to grow. And at this age, if it's not necessarily going to grow, you're going to make sure you don't lose it. Because at this age, the longer you go, I don't think anybody expects that they're going to be just as muscular at 77 as they are at 57, right? Right. So we know it's going to gradually go, but we got to fight for it, right? Sometimes that's what you guys got to remember. But that's what weight training is for. Okay, you got to understand that and how you do it. And it's that overload getting better. They call it progressive overload. Whatever the training split is. Right. So we talked about what fits in your schedule in a sustainable way, and then what you do with that particular training routine. That's what makes the difference. Right. I can make any training strategy work because I know the organizing principle is what makes a training routine work to build muscle. And I know what weight training does and doesn't do. Like a lot of men think that, again, that they're going to lose body fat if they're in a certain rep range or if they do a certain split. And they'll swear to me, well, I did it this rep range. I did lots of reps and I got lean. You got lean despite that training. What got you lean was what you did with your eating habits. Right. So I can make them all work, whatever the split is. Now it's which one do I prefer? Which one maybe is set up that I put that type of effort that I'm talking about in any workout. All right. So, some things, you hear certain things like people tend, to do more effectiveness and efficiency overload because they split it one body part once a week. That's not, that's maybe true, but that's not true for everyone. Right. Right. People tend to, build more muscle if they have fewer reps. They tend to, there isn't a rep range that does it. It's you that does it. It's not just about reps, right? It's how much weight you put on those reps and what it feels like at the end. So 12 reps doesn't, get you cut, number one, just like 6 reps doesn't necessarily build muscle. If I have too light a weight, if not pushing it hard to the end, and my body's already used to that, I continue to do that. 6 reps at whatever, 40 pounds. And I don't understand overload. I'm doing that week after week after week. And I'm saying, look, I accomplished this. All right. But you're not demanding more. Then 6 reps does not build muscle. You see what I'm saying? So, and then 15 reps, if you really push that, even with a lighter weight, but those last reps, you really challenge yourself, that could build muscle. So it's just generalities that this split is better for this person, or this split builds muscle, this rep builds muscle, this one gets you cut, all that. It's all about overload with your weight training. And then it's your understanding, your execution, your consistency, you understanding the whole process of what it takes. And really your eating habits to support that, but really your eating habits to stay lean to see if that is even working. Most men don't even know if it's working or not, right? Because they can't even see it. There's just too much body fat. A lot of times it is working. They just can't see it, right? So bringing it back here, let's see here. Is it true that working legs releases testosterone? I think all overload training to agree. How much of an impact is that making? But heavy training, no matter what body parts, legs is especially challenging. So you would think it would be more, but all weight training. right? Done on a consistent basis, and then getting your sleep, avoiding stress, and good eating habits, right, will help in that. Good morning, Saved by Grace. Dave Junk 77 over on TikTok from Maryland. Enjoy the info. Should I work out before eating breakfast? Right. So there are a lot of theories on that. Let me just say that that depending on where you are on your training journey, right, uh, that's where the information lies. You got to understand, if you're not going to the gym on a consistent basis, if you don't understand overload, if you're just eating like whatever, there's certain details that, and that's the thing. And like I said, I've been doing this for 35 years. I used to write for the Muscle magazine. You can see my body of work if you were to, do a Google search. Or I used to write for the Muscle magazine. I built my first website back in 1994. Actually, there's IFBB pros that I helped them build their websites way back when, right? So I've been sharing information. A lot of it, because I was so into it. So many guys, how can you achieve that body drug free? So a big part of it was, my passion was not just doing it, living. I loved obsessed with the bodybuilding lifestyle and the competition and getting better, and my climb to get in the muscle magazines and earn endorsement contracts with the supplement companies, depending on how well I perform, but also a lot of other things. How I was so enamored with the process, right? And I gave all this detailed information I would learn from the best, all right? Now, again, all right, this is not about how smart I am and everything that I've learned. This is about, I have to be your coach, right? To figure out where you are in the process and use my experience helping out men like you. And these are older men with busy productive lives who the vast majority did not work out, for the last 25 years, right? And they're trying to put together what overwhelms them, what I mean? So I don't want to start on things that don't matter quite as much, right? Especially when I know they don't have a strong foundation of what they're doing with the training and eating. So you got to understand, because I know you don't want to be a competitive bodybuilder, right? Look, being a competitive bodybuilder, writing about it, living it, breathing it, there's a lot of details that may be true, but a bodybuilder will do something that may take, I don't know, I'm using this as an example, that would take them 2 hours a day to do, to work in. That might give them like a 1% difference because they want it so badly. That's the mentality of a bodybuilder, a good bodybuilder. Everything matters. Everything's important. We're not looking for efficient. We want to be the best, even if it takes more work. That is the admirable quality of a bodybuilder. Well, you don't have to be a competitive bodybuilder. You have to be a 6-time national champion to have that mentality. You can be 25 years old and love this so much that you're creating so many videos on the internet, you don't even want a nickel from anybody. You just love it so much. It's that same mentality. Well, it's very admirable, but it's confusing to a lot of the men who I'm focusing on. So I'm not trying to help a 25-year-old who wants to be a bodybuilder. I've got lots of information. You can go to skiplacoremembers.com. So when I was writing all that stuff, I've got hours and hours and hours of videos, ebooks, charts, graphs, and I broke all that down. All right. But again, I don't give that information. I don't focus on that. I mean, it would be very interesting, got a lot of views. Everybody wants something different, right? But I'm staying consistent to a certain group of older men. All right. So you get down to certain theories. A lot of this is theories. It's personal opinion that's stated as fact. All right. When do you train? See, I personally don't eat anything before I work out. I just don't want anything in my stomach, right? Now I know you should eat, but I've done everything. I bracketed my workout with so much protein, so many grams of protein. Think about this thing, like, pure sugar, right? That's what we do after our workout, before our workout, right? Along with protein. right? Even if that built in more muscle, that particular area, partition the protein and the fat and whatever. So I utilize it, for a workout. You think that's a good idea for a man in their 50s that has to worry about his blood sugar levels for what? Or a half an ounce of muscle maybe over the next couple months, right? So there's certain things that may be true, but isn't what you need. And again, so it's differentiating that. You're getting caught up in facts right now. I don't eat anything before work, and I've bracketed my workouts with a precision amount of protein and carbs. You hear the argument: do you fasted cardio or fasted, meaning nothing in your stomach, workouts versus eating a small meal strategically placed a certain amount of time before with a certain amount of nutrients? That is not a game changer for the men who I'm talking to, right? And if you don't know how many calories that you're eating, you're just instinctively eating certain foods and using portion control. And you may even look at it, that may have worked for a while, okay? But that's not enough. That's what you need to focus on, all right? So Rob says, no, I'm 55 and would like to be in great shape. No. Where's the no part? I'm not sure about that part. All right, guys. So TikTok, all right? TikTok. So I come doing this live broadcast about this time, 4 o'clock, right? Then what I do is an hour of cardio, and then I come back, right? Working with algorithms and things like that. Oh, good. I'm glad that's very helpful, Dave. So I will be back on in about an hour, TikTok and Facebook, YouTube. If you want to go over to my TikTok page at skiplacore.com, I come back. Good morning. Great to see you too, Asher. All right. So I'm playing with these algorithms, right? On times, it's interesting how they do all this. There's certain patterns what they do on this. So I've kind of figured out a lot of things. So I will come back in about an hour, but just make sure you follow so that every time I go live, you'll be alerted. Because I do go live in the evening and sometimes throughout the day, depending on my schedule. I like to jump on. I'm really breaking down. It's interesting on all of these platforms. I talk about how they train dolphins, right? Remember, I don't even know. Do they have those water parks anymore where dolphins and whales they do all those? I don't know if they do that anymore. But it's interesting how they train them. So you'd think that they would reward them every time they jump high, they'll get 50 fish, and if they jump low, oh, you only get one or none. But that's not how they do it. It's kind of like gambling, right? You never know when the payoff is going to be, and that's what gets you addicted, right? So some of these formats, right? They understand human psychology, right? And so to get you as a viewer, how they reward you to your likes, but also how we as creators, how often to get us addicted to good content on their platform. They're always, how should I say, they're always switching the goalposts and giving random rewards for consistency, right? Doesn't seem like the more consistent you are, the more it would pay off. So it's very interesting that got it all, figuring it all out. So that's why I'll be back with you in about an hour or so. And you'll see me throughout the day. So again, if you're on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, make sure that you're on my TikTok page. A lot of stuff going on over there. All right. So here's an interesting question. Honeydew says, how can you motivate a partner to join you working out? It's great. That's a great question. Everybody is different, right? If you think about what motivates you to work out, it's, most, especially, get a little bit older. Most men don't work out. They don't watch what they eat, right? If you really look around, you may not see that because you're on TikTok, you're on YouTube and Facebook, and you're enamored into working out, right? So we seem to attract people who are like us, and that becomes our world. But most men don't work out, right? So if you have a partner and that's not their thing, I mean, that's, they have basically the job that I have where, I assume there's some interest. It's not, they have zero interest, and you just want to hypnotize them to want it, right? You can't motivate anybody to do anything, right? They've got to decide. They've got to decide based on whatever their pain, pleasure, whatever it is to them, right? So we're all motivated by different things. We all fear different things. I mean, I'm curious, what is your motivation to train? Because it's not going to necessarily work for somebody else. I have men, you would think that they want to work out to be healthy and fit. All right. They may have diabetes or pre-diabetes. Their aunts and uncles, maybe even their parents, suffered a lot of health issues early in life, like the same age they are. But even with that, motivation, that pain, that fear, they can't get themselves to eat right or work out. So that would seem strange, right? But we all kind of will block that out and rationalize however we do that. We'll soften the pain to get by this amazing journey, yet challenging journey called life. We'll cope, we'll rationalize. And maybe if they're in that situation, they'll never work out. Make no mistake about it. Those of us who have incorporated working out into our lifestyle on a consistent basis, we've bought in just to what level we're going to do this, right? It is an investment of time and energy, no doubt about it, right? If you get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, work out, and you do it right, that's going to come off your energy later on in the day. And if your work schedule, you've got important business meetings at 3 o'clock, this is how it's set up, man, you better plan accordingly, eat accordingly around that. All right. It's what your priorities in life. A lot of us, fitness is a way to cope with life. All right. But, if you spend all your energy coping with life by working out and eating right and, and all that, you don't have enough energy to tackle your other problems. Right. I am not one of those, even though I've been doing this for 35 years, I've been in good shape, all of my life. Right. Just to what level I've been in shape. I'm not one of those fitness influencers that see a man who's accomplished, right, with their business, with their family, great kids, right? They produced a lot of great things. Those things just didn't happen. They did not build a business and create the wealth, right, for all their employees and families and create a living for them and worried about it all that time, right? Took care of their family and the business. They've been married for 30 years, right? All that takes effort. It takes focus. There's no dummy or a lazy person who accomplishes those things, right? Children, I don't think I have to tell you how much work went into that. So to say someone who's accomplished all those things and they just didn't prioritize fitness, I mean, maybe they should have, maybe they want to, maybe they just didn't work it in with all their different priorities. Saying, what's your excuse? How lazy you are, right? A lot of the fitness experts who are telling you, why don't you just work out just an hour a day? It's not even that hard, right? They haven't accomplished a tenth of what you have, right? So if all you do was just focus on fitness, right? I guess how hard it would be. So I'm not one of those guys. I really appreciate what it took for you to accomplish all those things. That's why I'm not going to teach you how to be a obsessed bodybuilder about details that don't matter, because you're not going to do them, right? Because your values and priorities. How can you do this effectively and efficiently? But just build muscle, lose body fat, and continue on with your productive life. That's what I'm all about. Even though I know all the different, trust me, if you said, what about this way? I've probably done it both ways, right? But I'm only going to focus for your sake on the game-changing things, the things that matter most, right? And not let you drift off, right? Because it's really important if you're ever going to make this happen. Too many men are overwhelmed. They're focusing on the things that don't matter. And I want to bring you back to the things that matter. But I'll tell you, I understand, right? And that's why I want to simplify the process for you, help you get motivated to do the things that you need to do. All right. So understanding all that, what would be his or her buttons to push, right? What do they fear most? How is fitness going to alleviate them from never experiencing their worst pain, whatever that might be, right? And everybody's different, but they have to buy in. You can't sell them on something, just like with everything in life. They would have to buy in to why it's important to them. You can plan a lot of scenarios. That's what this is all about. And that's what I'm helping do with you. I mean, when I talk to men come to me all the time for coaching, right? Trying to figure out like where they are in the process, how long they've been training, what their level of understanding is with working out, with eating. Is it even a knowledge thing, or is it a motivation thing to get them motivated? Just like you talked about your partner. Everybody has a different story. Everybody has a different journey. One thing I'll ask, how important is it? Why do you want to do this? When I take a client on, I've got to be convinced that they're ready, because it doesn't matter if they spend time with me. I give them the greatest information in the world. If I can't feel as though they're ready, and I'm not a fortune teller, but I got to use my judgment, because I don't want to give them great information, great energy, give them years of experience, give them the experience and knowledge that has helped so many people. I don't want to give them that and then they don't use it, because maybe they get really sick and tired. All right, now they're ready to do something. It's a year from now, but they realize that, I did this before. Got Skip as a coach, man. That guy was good. He was passionate. I remember when I bought in, I saw him on TikTok, YouTube. I reached out to him. Man, he took the time. Man, talked to me for an hour before we even decided to go on that. Then he was there for me every week. The information just never did it. See, if I get you before you're sick and tired, before you're ready, before you're clear on it, I'm not setting you up just for failure right now. I could be setting up for failure for years in the future by being so good at what I do. You'll say, well, I didn't do it. I had that guy, so convincing. He was took so much time with me, made it as simple as possible. I failed back a year ago. What makes me think I can do it now? I don't want to do that. So the biggest reason is that I need to do is not just understand where you are, but I gotta understand why this is important to you. There's a lot to go into this coaching, as you can tell, besides sets and reps and diet. And I do think that's a big challenge when you're just scrolling through TikTok or YouTube or Facebook and you're focused on the strategies, when you don't understand the nuance of performance and everything. But just remember this: if you've accomplished so many things in your life, yes, indeed, you can do this too. It's just a shifting of your priorities, right, and understanding, and not getting overwhelmed, controlling what you can control. Don't make it too complicated. That's the key, and everybody's different on that. So, I think of what excites your partner most. What do they fear most? What's it going to cost them? Not what you've decided why fitness is so important, but why is this so important to them? Right? What's it going to really do for them? Right? Because obviously they don't see any benefit, even with your example. It's not worth the effort. They're watching you do it, right? And and you might want to think about that too. If you're making this so complicated, because that's what wires you, right? You're stopping and eating every 2 hours. You're measuring all your food all the time. You're taking. You got all these supplements all lined up. You have this whole complicated process that, whether it works or not, you're into it, right? That can be the most unappealing thing to your partner, because they're not wired like you, right? What if you make it simple, effective, and joyful, right? Sometimes we like to make it hard. We might like to make it complicated. That's how our brain is wired, right? But if we make it look too painful, too complicated, you might be doing everything to turn off that person to work out, all right? It's kind of tough enough to get our own, all our feelings, our emotions, our time, our energy, willpower, all focused in the right direction for us, let alone for other people. All right. An interesting conversation here. All right. So when I do this every time I go live in the morning, not sure, it's a grab bag of questions. Like a lot of people have come through. Thank you so much for the likes over on TikTok. Right? There's a whole flood of questions, coming through some days, right? That's how the algorithm works. Let's see here. I'm into working out, but don't want to get injured at 57, and I'm pretty active. Yeah, everything is risk versus reward. When I talk about that overload, one more rep, one more set, that's what stimulates muscle. That's where that risk reward, being more confident in what you're doing, right, all comes in. All right. I would start off slowly until you build confidence in what you're doing, certainty that it's going to pay off, right? That takes time before you start pushing it. But don't assume you're going to get injured. Don't assume. I don't know if you're working out at home. I don't even know what your goals are, but machines are good to prevent injury a lot of times too, right? Barbells, dumbbells, you'll hear a lot of, hardcore guys saying, hey, that's the way to do it, right? But it does take skill. All right, it takes more skill than machines, but they can both create overload. That may be a good way to you feel more comfortable in the gym. It's a good place to start, but it's always risk versus reward. Hey, Pigpen, thank you for the follow. Thank you so much for those likes. All right, let's see here. All right, so this is what I do every single morning. All right, when I come on, kind of it allows me to connect you with you this way every single morning, live. All right, but if you're sick and tired, and wait till you're sick and tired. Most men do. The men who I work with, they're very respectful for their own time. They don't have a lot of time to waste, and they're respectful of my time. They don't want to waste my time. But if you've been watching a lot of my live videos over the months, all right, or you could be new and you're just the type of man who does what it takes to get what he wants, right? But you're ready. You're sick and tired of this uncertainty, ready to do the work, can't find the right strategies. Reach out to me, right? I've got a two-step process. One is you text me at the number on the screen, 925-352-4366. And if it's not now, I just want to plant this in your head. So when you are sick and tired, 2 weeks from now or whatever, that this option is available to you, right? So text me at 925-352-4366. And if you, over the weekend and last week, I've got a lot of you. I've got a lot of you to contact today. Tomorrow is a good day, right? I will get to you, all right? So I'm not ignoring you. I think Victor Evans over on TikTok too, right? I know a lot of you guys kind of took the weekend off, but I'll get to you today. All right, so text me at 925-352-4366. That number's on the screen. That number is on the description of this video. All right, text me a picture. You're welcome. Saved by grace. You're welcome for the info, right? Text me a picture. Whatever you feel comfortable is fine. You don't have to take your shirt off, right? If that's uncomfortable for you, right? I can tell a lot, even when you're in a t-shirt. Right. So take a picture, text that to me, just introduce yourself. Now you're going to go to talkwithskip.com. It's going to take you over my skipcore.com website. I use my 35 years of doing this, my years of helping out really thousands of men just like you. I asked you some very skilled questions that's going to really paint a complete picture that I need to help you to really slice and dice and be efficient with your time. I'll spend 10 or 15 minutes helping you identify your biggest challenge, getting you clear. Maybe you just need validation of what you're doing is right. You hear so many different things. Will this work? It's eroding my motivation because I don't even know if I'm wasting my time. I get all that. I'll validate what you're doing right. So you just keep on keeping on, or maybe I'll have you make adjustments. One thing that I know that's needed is a lot of times you need to know how the body will change and in what time frame. Because a lot of times you could be doing it right. You just expect more, right? Or you expect it to happen faster. And so it doesn't matter if you're using the right strategy. You don't know how it even works, right? So I can validate what you're doing right at your biggest challenge. I can make adjustments if and when it's needed. I can give you a good sense of it. Now, what do you expect? What do you expect in what time frame? That's really important, all right? so you can just get to work. I know most men who I deal with, you're hardworking, you accomplish a lot of things. Right? But when it comes to this fitness, just tell you what to do and you're willing to do the work. And you just need that certainty. Right? I do this. Usually we have about 3 or 4 men who reach out every single morning. So I do this every single morning. It gives me a chance to really connect with those guys who are sick and tired, those guys who do whatever it takes to get what they want. So a 2-step process, text me, just say hello, text me a picture, whatever you feel comfortable with is fine. And then take the time. All right, I won't talk to you until you take the time. I want you to get clear. Those questions get you clear. So it's just, I don't know what I need to know. A lot of men get on here, they want the information to come to them, and hopefully I'll add a little bit more to their level of knowledge, their level of certainty every time. But what if you knew exactly what it is you needed from me? Where you can ask the question, or when I did ask the question, you knew it was for you, right? Filling out that questionnaire is going to give you a lot more clarity in addition to helping me. And then I'll reach out to you. I'll call you. I'll text you. We'll set up some time that's convenient for you, maybe even later on today. I'll spend that time with you. Do that every single morning. It's part of an added bonus because I know it's frustrating with all the different information that you get, and is it tailored to you, and all the uncertainty. And so, couple men at a time, every single day, right? I can help out a lot of men like you, right? So, if you're sick and tired, I should call this Sick and Tired Show, because I love it when men are somewhat interested in change. They love the information. They give me a lot of energy back. Hey, I love what you're doing. I love how you make it simple, right? Right. I love that, but I really love it when men are sick and tired and actually change. So wait to reach out to me until you're sick and tired. You must change. You're the type of guy who does what it takes to get what he wants. I've got a couple other things going on today. So when you go to solutionswithskip.com, check that out. I got a great package for you that includes that an hour one-on-one time with me, and the call is recorded. Right? I have that picture too. I have all your information from that questionnaire, right? And you get an hour. I mean, I'm skipping to the best part. 1 hour with me. All right. We can break down a lot of things. I know a lot of this nutrition thing is too complicated for you. I'll explain it to you. And just with everything, you can listen to it over and over again, especially as you're going through the journey. You're here, that's exactly what I needed. It's going to be 6 weeks from now, but it's during the hour that we spend together. But when you go to solutionswithskip.com, you'll see this package, training routine, the splits, the sets, the reps. It's explained. The training, the nutrition, the motivation, the mindset, the strategies of the most successful older men. It's in 11 hours, 12 different modules broken down. But you get the training routine, right? You get all the order, exercise days, particular one explained to you. There's 31 exercises that you'll perform in that week of training. And it's just your basic exercises. You don't need special machines or this and that. You probably need to be at a commercial gym. All right, but it's just the basic exercise, 2-minute explanations of what you need to do mentally, but also it's not just about being overly specific about the training form, right? You get that, but a lot more in these 31 exercises, 2 minutes or so videos explaining it. I've got a 90-minute video in there, and for a lot of men, it creates clarity. I know what your biggest challenge is. I know helping out, going through this process, what is confusing. So I present the challenge, the biggest fitness challenge that all face, and their solutions. 90-minute video. For a lot of you, that will really set you in the right place. So it's just filled with great digital information. Right when you enroll, you get instant access, and then I'll reach out to you to set up our one-on-one coaching session. All right, so that's at solutionswithskip.com for the men who are ready to take action. All right, let's see here. All right. Okay, so that's going to do it for this Workouts for Older Men live. Let's take on the day with a sense of urgency. We have to when we're a little bit older. We got more time behind us than we do in front of us. Have a great day.